All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome back to our Tribe Transitions webinar series. Today, we are talking all things summer pre-orientation programs. I can tell you, the staff on this call, we are living in two worlds right now. Commencement is just around the corner, literally. We've been in volunteer training all morning. We're all getting ready to celebrate the class of 2026 here at William and Mary. And I know that everyone on this call has been getting ready for the class of 2030 as well. So we are living in two realities. I know families, you're living in two realities with many of your students still wrapping up AP exams, proms and formals, last varsity sporting events, and really thinking about what do we have to take care of before we dive into the Tribe Guide checklist. So today is a primer on all of the wonderful summer opportunities for your student. Just like all of our Tribe Transition webinars, this session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel very shortly. If you want to know as soon as a recording hits our YouTube channel, please do subscribe. Or if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, subscribe so you can get notified anytime that we do upload one of these recordings. Of course, they're all shared via email a couple of days after the session is over as well. Q&A is live and active for this session. As our presenters will be talking about their pre-orientation programs, I invite you to ask questions in the Q&A about each of the programs, as they'll be diving into Q&A to type some answers to questions. And of course, we will have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. Before we get started, I am going to make a plug on behalf of Family Engagement for our On the Same Page book club. This is our William and Mary Family Book Club experience, especially for our incoming families. I want to talk about why you might want to join, what you can look forward to, and the benefits of joining this book club experience. So really, this is a guided summer experience to help you reflect on your transition as a family to William and Mary, not just your students' transition, but your transition, and how your role might shift and change. We'll do this by connecting with other incoming William and Mary families in a real peer-to-peer reflection and dialogue experience. You can explore how to support your students' independence from a distance as they start this exciting chapter, and really sit down and talk with us and prepare for the emotional and practical shifts that come with a first-year college student. How it works is for as long as we have supplies for, and I know we have supplies for at least 500 families to participate, Family Engagement will ship one copy of the book for free to you. You'll be enrolled in emails that have guided conversation and discussion questions, as well as discussion posts that you can engage with as a family. We'll have 3 optional Zoom meetings for all families participating in the book club, a great place to make peer-to-peer connections, hear from other families what the summer experience is looking and feeling like, troubleshoot in real time, and I'll be on each of the calls to help and assist along the way. Families who have participated in On the Same Page Book Club report that this is a very meaningful experience that allows them to really reflect on their transition, how to best support their student, and talk with other families about really the big feelings and changes that come with supporting a first-year college student. Whether it's your first student to go off to university or your last student to go off to university, there's something to take away from Kelly Ratty's Out to Sea, a parent survival guide to the freshman voyage. Love the book. It's hilarious. And she is such a wonderful, phenomenal author. So excited for you to consider joining. Please register by May 31st, and we'll start sending those books out the door shortly after, as book club will begin in the middle of June. All right, that is my family engagement spiel, and I am just going to turn us over right to why we're all here today. We're going to start with Rich Thompson, who is going to speak about his pre-orientation program, and then we'll go down the line. Rich, over to you.
All right, I'm Rich Thompson. I work in the Office of Civic and Community Engagement, and I'm tapped to run our pre-orientation program, which is entitled Engage. And this year, for Engage 26, the program is going to run August 17th through 20th. Some real purpose points of this program is to really provide students coming into William & Mary the opportunity to learn about themselves, but also learn about the community and learn how to connect this to the values of really in regards to sustainability and civic leadership. We will have a schedule of activities that are a 4-day experience, which will include on-campus and off-campus service experiences, and interactions with community leaders, nonprofits, and guest speakers, which I'm very excited about. For the participant experience, your son or daughter will actively involved in our community engagement experiences, like I said, through our hands-on service projects and learning the aspect of reflection and what the experience means to them and how it impacts themselves and the roles and impacts of our nonprofits in the community and seeing how those impacts benefit people beyond just the moment of time, but moving forward. And to help guide and lead this experience will be a peer-to-peer leadership model where we have 4 returning students that have been either involved in this program as a participant or team leaders in some of our other civic engagement programs that will be actively involved with your son or daughter day in and day out, working with them to get them adjusted to the William Mary experience and the civic models that we present as part of our programs. And we'll role model these practices actively so they know what to expect before they go into something, so they're a little more prepared. To give you a sneak peek of the program, we have a dedicated orientation program which we're ready to help kick off when your students arrive on campus to give them a sense of what to expect and ensure that smooth transition as much as possible, and of course provide that welcoming atmosphere. Highlights, we're going to start off. This is not the whole program, but some really cool ones, I think. We have a meditation Zen garden here on campus as part of our wellness center, and we're going to work with that team to revitalize that and get it ready for kickoff as everyone else comes in to start the academic year. We also have teams of students that serve actively throughout each semester at some of our area nonprofits, such as the Habitat for Humanity Restore, the Williamsburg Bicycle Co-op, and they will have some opportunities to work on the repurposing aspect of regards to sustainability. We'll also have the opportunity for sons and daughters to be involved in the aspect of food insecurity, examining how each of us can be part of a community to work at a local community garden to help raise food, to move that healthy, fresh food into food distribution to some of our shelters and other nonprofits, which part of the experience will be transitioned from growing and harvesting food to those service sites where we'll be distributing it out in the community. We'll also have some very special guest speakers, as I mentioned previously. We will have Dr. Randy Chambers, Professor of Biology and Sustainability Services, and former Vice President of Student Affairs, Sam Sadler, to speak on the concepts of steward leadership in our communities, and a very special behind-the-scene tour of the Virginia Institute of Marine Sciences. And of course, we want to have a fun-filled activity, experience associated with service. We'll have dinner experiences, campus walks, ice cream socials, and other experiences designed by our student team leaders to create that sense of belonging and connecting to the William Mary experience and Williamsburg as a whole. You might want to know where your son or daughter may be staying. We've worked out agreements with our Baptist College Ministry and the Wesley House, where it'll be staying on site there, which is fully air conditioned. We'll have full kitchen facilities. Basically, your son or daughter may need to bring their sleeping bag, but it's going to be set up where they can live pretty comfortably as part of the experience and also help segue directly into main orientation and moving on campus, where we will work dropping off your son and daughter to each site as needed once our program finishes up. The program is open to 20 new William and Mary students. The cost for the program is $150 per student, but we will be offering some discounts and scholarships on a case-by-case basis what our funding allows. So I encourage you, if you have interest in joining our program, to reach out to me, and I can see if we can see if your profile fits up there for some of our scholarships and discounts. The registration deadline is July 13th. And the registration information is below. And of course, if you have any questions throughout the summer, don't hesitate to email me. And I thank you so much. And I think I toss it over now to Ann and Jen, correct, Heather?
That is correct. Thank you so much, Rich. Any questions that
Thank
families
you.
might have about that pre-orientation program, specifically Engage, feel free to drop those in our Q&A right now if any come to mind, and we'll be keeping an eye on that Q&A. All right, Ann and Jen, over to you.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. We are here from the Office of Student Leadership Development. I'm Ann Arsenault. Positionally, I serve as the director in our office, and I'm also with my colleague, Jennifer Leung. I'll speak first, then we'll toss it over to Jen. But our work is really centered on leadership, belonging, and engagement at William and Mary. Leadership is in our name. It's what we do. It's what we want to help support for our students as they merge into different fields of leadership practice at William and Mary. We support individuals, students, and the primary places where they get involved and practice leadership, which for most students, that will look like where they find opportunities in one of our 500 recognized student organizations that work closely under our office. And for a lot of our students, that is where they demonstrate and practice leadership. We also know for a lot of our incoming students, they're most interested in figuring out where will they join, where will the communities be, where will they make friends. And so the opportunity to help them in their leadership journey and also in the places where they will belong and engage, that's where we center our work. We have up on the screen right now just a little bit about the approach that we take to our work. It's our framework for leader development and organization success. And we really focus on both sides of that framework, individual student leadership development, and then the opportunity for students to grow and create positive change in the communities, causes, and initiatives that are important to them. Our Elevate Pre-Orientation program is designed to kickstart their experience as an engaged student leader at William & Mary. We know that your student is coming to William & Mary with tons of great leadership experience, and Elevate is designed to help boost and continue that growth and development, engagement and learning and participation with others in community once they arrive at William & Mary, and to really help jumpstart the way in which they will get involved as a practicing leader once they are on campus. So I'm going to toss it over to Jen, who's going to talk a little bit more about program logistics and overview.
Let me unmute myself. I have too many screens open and too many actions to take. So like Ann said, Elevate is our leadership program for our incoming students. And so this is it's a newish program designed to help our incoming students really jumpstart their leadership journey that they will embark on at William & Mary. We know our students come here wanting to be involved. They want to be leaders, and we want to help them make the most out of that experience. Elevate is designed to have a lot of sessions. There will be large group sessions, and then there will be small group sessions as well, where they'll get to build relationships with a smaller group of students, but we think that they will form really great relationships and form a really great network of future leaders at William & Mary. In the past, when we've had programs focused on freshmen and sophomores, we've seen a lot of them build those connections early on, and it's been a joy to watch them continue those leadership journeys and leadership relationships all the way through graduation and beyond. And so that's what we're really hoping Elevate will help students do, is gain a lot of connections as well as skills and understanding about who they are as a leader that they'll be able to use while they're here at William & Mary, as well as beyond. We know that what they learn as leaders, they practice here in their organizations, but then they can apply that to internships, to future job opportunities, and other organizations and causes in their communities that matter to them. Some of the topics that our sessions will cover are going to include emotionally intelligent leadership, really helping our students understand who they are and how they show up with others. Talking about resilience. Being a leader can be hard, and so we want to make sure that our students are equipped with the skills to be resilient and engage in challenges and move forward as leaders. Want to focus in on strengths-based leadership using Gallup Strengths. Conflict will be an inevitable part of leadership and of life, and so we want to use some time to help our students learn how to effectively navigate conflict that they will face, both as individuals and as leaders. Want to help them get some practice in engaging in conversations that help strengthen community. And through all that, we know that they'll build networks and learn more about ways to get involved on campus by bringing in some continuing students to help them through this process and talk to them about all the wonderful involvement opportunities that we have on campus. Some logistics about our program. The application is live now. And can be found on the website that Heather's provided links for. Applications for this program are due Monday, June 29th. We will then review those and notify students who've been selected for the program by Monday, July 6th. And then Students who have been selected to participate will have about 2 weeks to register, and they'll be provided a link to that registration site with their notification. Cost for participation will be $150. That includes housing and meals on campus, as well as program materials. For students who need it, there is financial assistance available on a case-by-case basis. Participants will arrive by 2 p.m. on July 29th, and then they will be able to depart 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, August 1st. This is completely optional, but if families are bringing their students to campus for the program, there will be a brief program to welcome you, completely optional, and that will take place on the afternoon of July 29th. And we are looking to have about 30 students, around that number, participate in this program. So please encourage your students to apply. And if you have questions, you can email us at leadership@wm.edu. And with that, I will turn it back over to, I should have paid attention who I'm supposed to turn it over to. Hopefully they know.
We're turning it over to Allison.
Hi, Allison. Handing it over to you.
All right. Hi, my name is Allison Stovall. I'm the Assistant Director for Student Accessibility Services, and I'm excited to share a little bit about our Summer Connections program today. There we go. All right. So the Summer Connections program is a week-long supportive experience for incoming students to help them prepare for their arrival in the fall. The program is designed for students with disabilities, and our staff and student mentors are familiar with their needs. Some of our kind of program highlights are an introduction to the resources and support that we offer in our office. We will have a couple mock academic classes that students can kind of learn a little bit about what a typical college course looks like and kind of get some tips on how to prepare for them. We'll have a tour of campus, including Sadler and the SWEM library. There will be opportunities to form connections with other incoming students and our returning student mentors that will be helping out for the program, as well as kind of an introduction to some of the available resources on campus. Some of our program details. This year, the Summer Connections program will take place from Monday, July 27th to Friday, July 31st. The program is completely free for students. It includes housing in the dorms, it includes dining, and any scheduled outings. Applications are open now, and they will close on May 29th. The program can accommodate up to 30 students, and participants are accepted on a first-come, first-served basis. That application is available on our website. If you go ahead and scan that QR code, it'll provide a little bit more information about the program, as well as kind of where to find that application. Thanks for listening. If anyone has any questions, feel free to kind of either put them in the Q&A feature or send us an email at sas@wm.edu, and I'm happy to answer kind of anything that comes up. And I believe I'm handing it over to Michael to talk about the Pathways program.
Great. Thanks, Allison. My name is Michael White, and I am an associate director with Campus Recreation, and I oversee the outdoor recreation program that we refer to as the Tribe Adventure program. I'm going to share with you, actually, our webpage for Pathways, as that's the best place to get all of the information about our program. So Pathways is a offering through Campus Recreation and our Tribe Adventure program. It's a very unique pre-orientation program. We serve 100 to 120 incoming freshmen and first semester transfers. Their pre-orientation program is offered through week-long wilderness adventure experiences that are led by William and Mary students. Some of our most important information is listed on the front and top of our webpage. There are 2 sessions to choose from. Session 1 will begin on Sunday, August 9th, and will run through Thursday the 13th. We return to campus early in the morning on Thursday. This is especially important for Session 2 students who will be joining our standard orientation program. And so we want to make sure we get them back in time for a proper move-in and their orientation program that Thursday. Our applications will open on May 21st. They will be live from the webpage. There'll be a link to click on. It is an application process. It is first come, first serve. We review the requested programs to see what's available. Students are then placed hopefully in their first or second choice. On rare occasion, as we get later in the application process, they may be added to their third choice. And then we close those applications on July 13th to give us time to get all the proper paperwork and information to the students who will be participating. The cost for this program is $215 per student. And this includes all meals, all camping, all permits, all fees to enter parks, as well as all the group gear that we provide throughout the program. There is a cancellation policy because this is a very popular program. We list that. It also comes on the receipt once a student pays for their position in the program. I'm going to share with you this year's offerings. We did change our offerings this summer to include an oldie but goodie, the Intro to Virginia Rock Climbing. But we offer a week-long backpacking, the Appalachian Experience. This is a physically demanding program. However, you do not need experience to participate. We offer a canoe and camp experience that travels around Virginia. They will camp in different locations and paddle on different waters, including the James River, Holiday Lake State Park, as well as our Oka. The Intro to Virginia Rock Climbing is an introduction to rock climbing. As I mentioned for previous programs, no experience is necessary. They'll learn the basics, and they will be led by two of our trip leaders who are Professional Climbing Instructor Association trained instructors. So they'll learn basic rock climbing and travel to a number of rock climbing locations in the state. We'll be offering Surfs Up again, which is a very popular trip where they go to First Landing State Park. They camp near the beach. They receive surfing lessons from one of our Virginia Beach partners. They surf, they stand up paddleboard, they visit Kipta Peak State Park over on the Del Mar Peninsula, where they get to see the famous ghost ships. And then we have one of our most accessible programs, Base Camp Bears Den. One of the things that stands out about this group is they will be staying in the same location every night and going out each day for an adventure experience. And part of that experience will be staying in a historic lodge on the Appalachian Trail. If you have any questions whatsoever, our contact information is provided on our webpage. Feel free to reach out to us or give me a call. But as I said, a lot of this information is on the website. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. My name is Antonio Dilward. I am the Assistant Director for the Student Center for Inclusive Excellence here at William & Mary. And I am the director for one of the directors for our PLUS program this year. PLUS stands for Preparing for Life as a University Student. It's our opportunity to get our students on campus, get deeply engaged with the resources that are here, start building community, and to start building that community that's going to allow them to thrive, not only from that week that they'll have with us, but throughout their entire 4 years. So to really jump into and begin discussing what PLUS looks like, I would like to invite my co-director, Owen, to the mic to talk a little bit about what our purpose is and to introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Antonio. As you said, my name is Owen Marino. I am the Assistant Director in the Office of First Generation Student Engagement, as well as the co-director of our PLUS program. And as I'm sure you're wondering, that's the purpose of why you're here. Why would I send my students to campus early? So PLUS, as Antonio mentioned, is one of the many programs we have to prepare students for their life as an undergraduate. So the purpose behind our program is to provide students with leadership and mentorship. We have a great cohort of Plus counselors who were previous Plus attendees who will share their experiences and lead the students through their Plus experience. It is a week-long residential program running from July 18th through July 25th, ending with a day in DC where students will get to experience the wonderful campus we have in DC called the Washington Center, where they'll get to learn about the programs and what that has to offer, as well as ongoing engagement throughout their time at William and Mary. So what that includes is some mentorship that carries throughout their 4 years as an undergraduate student here. We'll have social activities and professional and academic development activities throughout those 4 years, as well as during their time at Plus.
Exactly. So when we're talking about Plus, right, we built a Plus on these really strong 5 pillars. The first one is academic success. Our students are going to have the opportunities to participate in classes or mock lectures, have the opportunity to learn different skills that are going to allow them to thrive while they're here on campus, and really set that strong foundation that'll set them up to be successful students here at William and Mary. The next portion of this is the community and leadership development. And we really look at how do we help our students create positive impacts. We introduce them to different resources on campus, different communities, different clubs and orgs, but also start training them up in that process of leadership. What does it look like to participate in a group? What does it look like to be a part of a team? How do we all come to solid conclusions and with a proper direction of where to move forward? We look at creating a healthy balance. We want our students to learn how to start building out their schedules, coming to our campus and dealing with our classes and knowing that this is a rigorous campus, having them being able to craft their schedules with enough time, not only for them to thrive as students, but also to thrive as individuals and as they continue to build up themselves. We look at college to career readiness, so we get them engaged with the Career Center early on, beginning to look at what is it that you would like to do with your life, and how would you like to build out your career and the different things and options that are available to you. But more importantly, we really focus on that aspect of belonging, of having our students realize that this entire campus is a space that belongs to them and a space that they can utilize for their own benefit.
Awesome. And it is quite the lengthy experience being a week. So you might be wondering what a typical day in Plus might be looking like. So students will start off with a breakfast at our lovely dining halls here, followed by some class sessions. So we'll have mock lectures with professors on campus who have agreed to partner with us, some in psychological sciences, some in chemistry, some in history, as well as some in the School of Education. In the Office of First Generation Student Engagement, we have 5 faculty fellows who work closely with our office and the center. So they volunteered their time to teach mock lectures so students can get a better understanding of what a lecture might look like at William and Mary, what the teaching styles are like, how to take notes effectively in class, and just kind of get an understanding of what being in class might be like, because it's much different than it is in high school. Following that, students are provided with lunch in our dining halls and then some free time to unwind, relax, and build community. And then we'll have some resource workshops in the afternoons. Some of those consist of working with the Career Center on resumes, taking a headshot, interview skills. We also have scheduled with the Advising Center to figure out so students can learn how to register for classes, because that's also something that's relatively new coming into undergraduate, as well as working with campus recreation so they can understand the resources available there. Then following that, all of the Plus students will have a debrief of the day with their counselors so they can reflect on what they learned that day, take some notes, learn from what other students have learned, and build community and grow that way. And in the evenings, we also have scheduled evening activities such as the talent show. We're sending the students to laser tag as well as bowling. So those are just some of the fun activities that we're sending students to build community and get an understanding of what campus life is like and what you can do in the area.
Absolutely. Now, our office is 2 different offices that are working together for this event, but we love the fact that we partner all across our campus. So first off, we'll be partnering with the Wellness Center and with the Campus Rec in order to introduce our students to some of those resources that are over there. So we're having that conversation sometime soon to talk about even if we can get our students to go zip lining this year. And we said on that Saturday, or on that Friday, we'll be going to visit the Washington Center, where they'll have the chance to one, explore Washington, D.C., but also learn about some of the opportunities that are available to our students in the D.C. Center. By participating in the Plus program, our students are actually welcome. We take about 6 of those students to a DC externship during the spring, where they have the opportunity to participate in an externship for free at the cost of the center. And then lastly, definitely with our Cohen Career Center and really getting our students engaged early on developing and building out their careers. So, with that being said, we are looking to take about 60 students this year. This program is free of cost. That covers, we cover the trips to laser tag, to bowling, to all of the different food that we'll have, to housing, to the food that's available on campus. So there's absolutely no cost to our students. And all in all, we're just really excited to be able to bring on the students on campus and to begin building that relationship out. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us at the Student Center for Inclusive Excellence, at the center at wm.edu or plus at wm.edu. And from here, I believe that I am turning it over to Lauren.
I believe so. Thank you so much, Antonio. Let me get my screen pulled up. Let's see. Okay, so as I said, I'm from the Office of International Student Scholars and Programs, or ISSP. Our office supports students in 4 main ways: programs, trips, and events. And as I mentioned, I oversee all of our programming on campus for our international students. We also do advocacy and outreach for the needs of our international population on campus. We provide immigration services to our international population, and then we also have some scholarships available for current students. So I want to specifically detail who we are talking about when we talk about international students, specifically if you're wondering if that would apply to your student. So our office does serve students who are in F1 and J1 status, and that includes exchange students and students who are in the St. Andrews Joint Degree Program. But we also support international students who may be in other statuses, so that could be permanent residents, if you have a H4, a visa in RO, or any of those other categories. And then also, we also support U.S. citizens who might be culturally international, sometimes known as third culture kids, who may have grown up or spent a lot of time outside of the U.S. And this may be their first year or first time really coming back and spending a lot of time in the U.S. and need some social and cultural support. So the program that I'm here to talk to you about today is our International First Year Arrival Program, which is open to our undergraduate international students who are in their first year at William & Mary. That does include exchange and transfer students, and who are going to be living on campus during the 2026-2027 academic year. So, all new students at William & Mary have a lot to do when they first arrive to campus, from completing paperwork to making new friends, and figuring out where their classes are, and buying everything that they need for their dorm. But international students need to do all of this while also navigating countless other transitions like culture shock, jet lag, depending on where you're coming from, homesickness, and a lot more. So at William & Mary, our new student orientation, as you may have seen as you've been reviewing things like the Tribe Guide and seeing all that information, it really is a whirlwind of programming that happens over the course of 4 or 5 days that begins with new student move-in. And when you've just arrived in the US from an overseas journey that could have lasted anywhere from 10 to 24 hours, getting through those 5 days will take an incredible amount of mental and physical strength. So for that reason, new undergraduate international students are strongly encouraged to participate in our International First Year Arrival Program to help you get settled into your residence hall, get acclimated to campus, and recover from travel, all before diving into that new student orientation period. So some of the benefits of participating in this program are students get to move into their residence halls 1 or 2 days earlier before new student orientation, and that's up to you. That's optional whether you'd like to move in 1 day before or 2 days before. You can specify. You get that extra time to recover from travel and really get settled. All meals during the program, the 1 or 2 days of the program, are covered during this time.
We also organize different shopping trips for students during this. So if your student needs to go and get bedding, additional toiletries, or get international foods from different grocery stores, we organize those shopping trips during this time. We also have optional social activities and events, and they're optional because we know, depending on how long your international travel and journey is to get to William and Mary, you might just want to spend a lot of downtime, maybe sleeping and recovering from that time. But we also provide the opportunity to get to know some of our ISSP staff and student program assistants. Have a lot of fun events. We're planning, a dinner, pizza party, games night, different campus tours, opportunities to really engage and get to know some of our students and staff. And of course, during this whole program time, you will have support from our staff as well as our student program assistants. So I finally just want to provide the QR code for the program. The deadline to register is July 1st. And if you have any additional questions about the program, what to expect, or any other costs or timing for registering, please contact us. Our email is globe@wm.edu. We also have the QR code there that will take you directly to the registration form. So I hope that many of you will consider joining us for the program.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for all of that wonderful information. Families, as you can see, we have tons of opportunities for your students to dive into William & Mary before classes even begin in August. I know that we have been answering some questions in the Q&A, but families, now is the time to go ahead and drop any and all questions you have for our pre-orientation program coordinators. One of the questions that I see in the chat that I do want to answer live, because we get it every single year, and I know we have 2 POP coordinators who responded, but is it okay if a student participates in multiple pre-orientation programs? Does anyone have restrictions on the call that says students cannot participate in another program if they're participating in your program?
Well, I think I answered for one of the folks who questioned that with Pathways. We have no problem with other orientations. We actually have a number of people who do that. However, we can't adjust the schedule to fit another program. So I know Plus is super popular, and I'm not sure, I got to look at the dates a little closer to see if they overlap. But we get here, and students, the same day they arrive, are in a van leaving and traveling to a location, and then come back in Thursday in the morning. And there's no way for us to arrange for them to leave later or leave the program early. So as long as we're not overlapping, and we leave that into the hands of the student to make sure that those dates line up.
Yeah, thank you for that additional context. I always like to add too, as each of our pre-orientation program coordinators were speaking about their programs, some do have very limited capacity. So it's a great conversation to have with your student. I'm sure some of them would want to take advantage of maybe every program that we just learned about, because they do all sound wonderful. But just making sure that we're really providing an experience for all over 1,000 new students who are coming into William & Mary. So maybe just being judicious about which program really speaks to them, what will be valuable to their growth before they arrive at William & Mary. And maybe 4 is not the number of pre-orientation programs we want to engage with. I know I see Anne shaking her head. That's a little preliminary lesson on depth over breadth, which is really how we encourage students to engage meaningfully in a few things rather than just dipping their toe into every pool that they see and that they walk by. So that's a leadership lesson they'll learn later at William & Mary. All right. I've got a question here in the chat. Is there a place to stay the night before, or do we need to get a student a hotel if they're flying from across the country? So asking questions of, I know we have some out-of-state families who will be sending their student to a pre-orientation program. How have our out-of-state or those who are traveling long distances handled that arrival in the past? Anyone can answer.
I mean, I'll speak because we get a lot of those students who maybe not just come from out of state, but out of the country. We do know that those students have a specific arrival move-in time to their dorm room. So unless you've arranged some sort of early move-in prior to your designated appointment on new student move-in day, you would need to find your own arrangement for accommodation the night before.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's the answer for most of our programs, which is if your student is traveling a long distance to arrive for the pre-orientation program, I don't know if any of us are able to offer any early arrival to the pre-orientation program. It would be that they need to find a hotel or Airbnb or other lodging off campus until that specified arrival time during the pre-orientation program itself. And all of them, I do know, my years of experience working with all of these programs is they will have very specific check-in and arrival times, and they do have really structured schedules. And so that's something to keep in mind if your student does sign up for one of the pre-orientation programs to just check in on that schedule, make sure that you have plenty of time to get them here, and that we have some time built in just in case there are travel woes or travel errors or canceled flights or flat tires on the highway. So just making sure that that happens and that's built into your travel plans. I'm not seeing any other questions in the Q&A. So families, if you're listening and you do have questions for our presenters, go ahead and drop those in the chat. One that I'm going to ask for the sake of all of those who couldn't join us today, and I know each of you touched on it in little pieces, but I do want to hear your perspective. What is the value for a William & Mary student in attending a pre-orientation program? I'm sure there are some families who are listening that are like, no, I want my student home with me for as much time as possible until I have to drop them off at William & Mary. And there are others who are excited for their student to embark on some of these really exciting opportunities. But what is the value and what's the why behind a pre-orientation program for students? And y'all can popcorn around if you would like.
I'll
go
kick it
for
off. I
it.
think it's a preliminary community building opportunity and a focused navigation of a topic area or a community that you're interested in growing into. All of us have an interest in helping that student have a home base that exists before they jumpstart and that a particular lens and viewpoint that's helping them get more engaged in the things that they think they want to spend time on once they're here.
Antonio?
I was gonna let Richard go first because he had started talking. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
let him.
go for it.
All right, then. Well, thank you so much, Antonio. I think what Ann touched on is right, starting off, jumping in and really start finding your place and really testing the waters a little bit, but also really a chance to connect and make some new friends, but also learn about the opportunities that are here at William Mary and also in the community, which I think each of our programs offers something unique and different.
Absolutely. And I'm probably about to beat a dead horse, but literally, I think all freshmen get nervous coming to campus. And that's just the reality, right? Is that this is a new space. This is a time for transition. There are a lot of different things to explore. And versus day one, when everybody's on campus and you're getting rushed and family is all in your face, you have an opportunity to come on campus, explore it a little bit, and be settled enough that when you do come to campus, the jitters aren't hitting you all at one time. This is the opportunity for you to get your feet wet, to explore campus enough to get comfortable, and then also build that solid enough foundation that when you do get here and mom getting ready to leave, you're not alone. You have a friend that's down the hall, you have a person you can call that's like 5 minutes away, and that you can share in those moments together. So just beating that freshman nervousness early on.
Yeah. I think that is a great point. It's a wonderful opportunity for our students to test drive some independence over the summer in a really structured format, in a really short amount of time to be like, okay, this may be what this feels like. And for all the families listening on the call, it's a good opportunity for you to test drive what it's going to feel like to drop them off at William and Mary and what it might feel like for them to be navigating an independent experience in the very trusted hands of our pre-orientation programs and our student leaders who are working diligently to train for and prepare and connect with your students. So it's a great opportunity to just really feel out, am I more nervous than I was anticipating? What questions do I have? Teaching them a little bit of advocacy early on. So it's a wonderful opportunity for them to just test drive that opportunity to be independent and for you to test drive what it feels like to go through the experience. I know many of our sessions will do kind of a parent drop off or a parent session or family session as well. So it's a great opportunity just to see what it feels like. I talked about book club at the beginning, and we talk a lot about those transitions and what it feels like and what's surprising us along the way. And I know pre-orientation program drop off, I can feel it when we get closer to some of those dates and we get some questions about, oh, how are they, what's going to happen? So it's a good opportunity to feel that out and get some training for the whole family about what move-in and orientation will feel like. I'm not seeing any other Q&A, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up there. I know that for many families and us on campus, we're all working toward that real true finish line of graduation and commencement. And so you may be thinking, Heather, you talked about pre-orientation programs so early in the summer, but I know all of you are busy making summer plans because you're asking me about Thanksgiving break and winter break. So I know that you are thinking about what you'll be doing this summer. And now is a great time to sit down and have a conversation as a family about, do you want to engage in a pre-orientation program? If so, which one? And getting those application materials submitted as they make some of those decisions. Thank you to each of my pre-orientation program coordinators for joining today. I know they're working so hard to develop incredible programs that will be meaningful experiences for your students. So thank you for spending some time with us and for all of the care and attention that you have for your programs. The session was recorded, will be uploaded shortly. Thanks again, everyone, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.